What's going on, boys? My name is Nox and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about the Frost DK. It's gotten some buffs recently and I know a lot of people prefer it to Unholy, so it's a quick guide to get some people started. This guide is for new players to DK or folks who have taken a long break from the spec in general. It's a very basic guide to get you obliterating dungeon and raid content as quickly as possible. Just going over DK basics. DKs have two resources, runes and runic power. Runes are spent on things like Obliterate, Frost Scythe, and Remorseless Winter, and runic power is spent on Frost Strike and Breath of Sindragosa. You generate runes passively, but you can only be recharging 3 at a time, and you generate runic power when you spend runes. The goals of the spec are don't cap runes, so you want to be 3 or less runes at all times. You want to use your CDs often and properly. You want to not cap runic power, and you want to press Remorseless Winter on CD. As far as dual wield or two-hander, because Frost can be either or, you just pick your best weapon. Dual wield is slightly better than two-hander, everything else being equal. For your rune forges, you're going to want to have Fallen Crusader in your offhand and Razor Ice on your main hand if you're dual wielding, and if you're two-hander, you're going to be taking Fallen Crusader for Mythic Plus and Razor Ice for raiding. For your Covenant choice, they're all really close. Pick your favorite. I chose Necrolord on my DK because it's good for Unholy and it's good for Blood as well. Venthyr's a good choice. Knife is a good choice. Kyrion's right up there too. They're all really close. Pick your favorite. For your Soulbind, if you're Necrolord, choose Emily. If you're Venthyr, choose Nadia. If you're Night Fae, choose Naya. And if you're Kyrian, choose Pelagos. For your conduits, in all situations, you want to be taking Everfrost and Accelerated Cold. For your legendary for raiding, it's going to be Koltira's Favor. And for Mythic Plus, it's going to be Biting Cold. Stat weights for Frost DK are weapon DPS is first and foremost the highest priority, so always pick your highest item level weapon regardless of its stats. We want to use Strength secondary, so highest item level armor, it's going to give the most strength. And then we can do Crit, Mastery, Haste, and Versatility. And again, I strongly recommend you guys sim your character if you're not sure. There's a video in the description below showing you guys how to do that. For talents, we have the dual wield build, which uses Cold Heart, Runic Attenuation, Asphyxiate, Frozen Pulse, Death Pact, or Permafrost, Gathering Storm, and Breath of Sindragosa. For the opener, we're going to be using a triple Obliterate, and we're going to use any rhyme procs we get. Then we're going to Breath, Pillar of Frost, Ghoul, and Empower Rune Weapon all at the same time. We're going to be spamming we're going to press our Covenant ability, and then we're going to spam Obliterate, Remorseless, and Chains of Ice to generate as much runic power as possible during Breath. It's very important to not press Frost Strike during Breath of Sindragosa. The goal is to have as long of a Breath of Sindragosa window as possible. It's where a lot of our damage comes from using this build. We're going to use Frostworm's Fury on cooldown during Pillar of Frost. And then from there, we follow the main priority system, which is don't cap runes, so press Obliterate, use your rhyme procs when you get them, and don't cap runic power, press that Frost Strike. For the two-hand build, we have Inexorable Assault, Murderous Efficiency, Asphyxiate, Avalanche, Death Pact or Permafrost, Gathering Storm, and Obliteration. For our opener here, we're going to Remorseless Winter, and then Pillar, Ghoul, and Howling Blast on the pull. This will generate a Killing Machine proc for us because we're using the Obliteration talent. And then we're going to weave Obliterate and Frost Strike, or Obliterate and Rhyme, over and over again, spending the Killing Machines with Obliterate and generating them with either either Howling Blast or Frost Strike. We use Frostworm's Fury on cooldown, but outside of Pillar of Frost, because it's really important to get as many Killing Machines as we can during that Pillar of Frost window. For the Mythic Plus talents, these only really change for dual wield, and we're swapping out Frozen Pulse for Frost Scythe. The playstyle doesn't really change in Mythic Plus for dual wield, except you just swap out 1-for-1 Obliterate for Frost Scythe. So for that same Breath of Sindragosa opener, you're just spamming Frost Scythe instead. It is worth noting that it is not worth taking Frost Scythe if you're using a two-handed weapon. It just doesn't do as much damage as Avalanche. So just getting into the macros here. We have our Breath of Sindragosa macro. So this shows the tooltip. That's what this first line does. This /cast Breath of Cindergrosa. This exclamation point is important because it prevents us from canceling breath. So if we're spamming the breath key, making sure that we're going to get it out, it doesn't just automatically cancel it afterward. This casts Pillar of Frost, Empower Rune Weapon, Raise Dead, Blood Fury, because I'm at work, and uses both of my trinkets, or whichever trinket is off cooldown. This one isn't on use, but just in case I swap these, I just make sure that I get my uses out of my trinket during my cooldowns. It is important to cooldown stack. This trinket is worth far more during Pillar of Frost and Breath of Cindergrosa than it is outside of that. That's why I do that. And then for our Pillar of Frost macro, this is just a basic one. This casts Pillar of Frost. This casts Blood Fury as well. It casts Raise Dead, and it uses your trinkets. Now, I don't have Empower Rune Weapon in this macro because I find that I get better use out of Empower Rune Weapon outside of the obliteration window. I feel like I have plenty of runes to spend, or if I need to, then I can use it on the fly, but I feel like I have plenty of runes to spend while I am in that window, so I like to use it outside of that. You guys can macro that all together if you want. It's entirely up to you. These macros will be posted in the description below. If you guys are interested in more DK stuff, I encourage you guys to check out the Acarus Discord. It's where I got a lot of this information from. Those guys are mega nerds, and I love them for it because they're sim crafting all day. They're doing all of the calculations necessary that we know how to play super well. Definitely check them out. Link to that is in the description below. And big shout out to Biceps Bump. He's fantastic Death Knight. He has some really in-depth guides if you guys are interested in checking those out. Link to his channel is in the description below as well. He has some really interesting stuff. And finally, I've been getting a lot of questions regarding the add-ons and things that I use. I actually have a guide on how to set up my UI on the channel. If you guys are interested in checking that out, link will be in the description below. I also stream every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday on Twitch, twitch.tv/NoxPlaysGames. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing if you want to see more content, and I will catch you guys in the next one.